Are we good now? Let us know. Somebody's commenting. I don't know if we're good though. Are we good? Let us know. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Yeah, we're good. We're live. Yeah, we're live. This is my song. ¿Y ustedes saben por qué hoy tenemos merengue? Bueno, ¿por qué? Porque somos latinas. No, ya. Queremos felicitar a todas las personas dominicanas, a todos nuestros dominicanos y dominicanas que nos están viendo en el día de hoy. Feliz Día de la Independencia de República Dominicana. Where are my Dominicans out there? Let us know. Thank you so much for joining us. And let us know, Saudi, everybody, do we look good? We're good, right? We're positioned properly? Yes, we are. Very good. Okay. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. Thanks for tuning in and waiting on us and coming on. We're really excited about today's topic. Oh, yeah. And we've been sharing, if you guys have been following us, my name is Denise Martino.
Yesenia Martinez.
Dislene Pichardo. Welcome, everybody. Please feel free to share this video, this live, tag a friend if you feel like they can benefit from our topic today. We're going to be talking about body confidence. Is it an inside job or not? So I'm going to open it up with something that we want you guys to think about. When you look in the mirror, what is it that you feel? What is it that you see in the mirror? Right, Dislene? What?
Yes, like when you stand up in the mirror, it can be like a full body mirror or like a halfway mirror. What do you see and how do you feel?
And how do you feel? I think that's really important because sometimes I think that we can all agree on this is that what we see in the mirror, sometimes it's not what we feel, sometimes it doesn't match. Sometimes we may be feeling something different on the inside, and then when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we feel different. So as we share and as we talk about this topic that's really close to our hearts, we want you guys to really think about that, and please feel free to ask us questions, to comment below if any of this resonates with you, if you feel like you can relate to it in any kind of way, then please, we would love to hear from you. And the reason why we chose this topic is because, we can say that we have struggled with body confidence, and I think a lot of times we still do, right? Like as women, even if you're working on yourself physically or if you're not, it's completely normal, and a lot of us struggle with loving ourselves from the inside out. And we really feel like this is a topic that a lot of women maybe think about, they feel it, but don't necessarily talk about it because I think that a lot of us feel like we're crazy. Like, you know, for thinking it, or for like, maybe we feel like we're the only ones that are feeling that way.
As women, we always feel like we're the only ones, we're like the only ones going through issues, and we always tend to attach other people's confidence and imaging towards ourselves as well.
That's
so
true.
There might be something that we connect with someone else, but it might be that negative thing that's in us that we connect to that person, and what they see, what you see in them, that you're going to see it in yourself as a negative. So that's another thing too. Is you're around women, you want to be. That's why you should be around uplifting women, because you're going to need to take out each other's positives. Because if you're negative, you're going to connect to that negativity, and it's just going to grow. And your confidence is going to keep dropping as opposed to growing within each other.
That's so true. And I think especially too because of social media. Social media is kind of a good thing and a bad thing, I think sometimes, only because I feel like a lot of the images that are put out there and people taking pictures of themselves and this kind of like idea of perfection and the perfect body. That you see it a lot, even like with I love the Kardashians, but And J-Lo. Like, J-Lo's my girl.
Oh, that's my own.
But, you know, like, how realistic is that to have a figure that way? It's not, you know, these are women that are high profile, got a lot of money, probably have, like, chefs living with them. You know, but I think that a lot of us as women, we see those images and we feel like we start to compare ourselves.
Yes.
Right? And it used to happen to me a lot when I started on this journey. Like, that was my thing. Like, I focus on, like, I just want to look like that girl. I want to look like that girl. And then all my focus was put on that. And then I was missing everything else that was happening within me.
Right.
Yeah, because of the body image.
Right. Exactly.
And also something very interesting also is that when you see yourself in the mirror, what you see and what you feel is not the same thing that others sees in you. So that's something very powerful when I was you know, reading about this topic, that what you see yourself in the mirror and how you feel is not the same thing that others sees in you.
That happens all the time. Like, even like when I'm, you know, like I'm looking at myself in the mirror and people, or I take pictures and I hear like my friends are like, oh, you look great in that picture. And then I'm so quick to like see where I have all of my defects.
Oh,
you know,
like that's one thing.
Like, I'm so quick to spot that out. Like, oh, like I see that. Instead of just like, you know, stop yourself and just take it in and accept the compliment and just be okay with that. But I think that a lot of us do that.
I think we all do that. How many times do we take a group picture and it doesn't matter how the picture looks, if you don't like one thing about you, you're saying, let's take the whole picture again.
Oh my God.
Let's
Oh,
take the whole
you're not
picture
gonna post that
again.
picture.
That's your confidence. So don't post that picture. Don't, you know, crap, you know, and it's like, you can't walk around with filters in life. Like, it's just, you're going to take a million pictures because you just don't like the way it looks. And everybody else is like, no, it's okay. But it's just that confidence, and it's just working on yourself, and it's working within, and not letting others truly affect, like not allowing other things outside you can't control that you're confident, bring your confidence down.
So, Deslane, let me ask you, when you look in the mirror, like, what's the first thought that you have now compared to maybe 5 years ago? Good question, huh?
Yes.
Deep with it.
Well, right now I am in a stage of my life that I see like a courageous woman. I see a fearless woman. I see a beautiful woman inside and out.
Yes.
I see a woman that has accomplished a lot. To what I used to see 5 or 6 years ago, before finding you girls and finding our community, it was like negative. Like I told you, I was just focused like on the outside of me. I never got in touch with the Deslane inside and what I was able to do, and you know, it was just all about the body image.
And that's a good point, because I know that that's what helps us as women to build that confidence. And it does have to start from the inside, because like you said, like once you start to connect to your inside and what you were capable of doing and your strength in so many ways, you started to kind of see the outside a little different. Like you became more confident on the inside, and then it just kind of like the outside, that all started to mesh.
Yes.
And become one.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, like now I feel that I am not so focused on like how I look, even though that matters. You
Even
know,
though it does.
we love as women, we love to look good, but I am not in that stage of my life how I was 5 or 6 years ago, that, oh, that's my body goal. Like, I want to have abs. Even though if you want to have abs, that's your goal. But, you know, I was like just so focused on that, like I mentioned before, that I was missing everything that was happening inside of me and seeing my strength, discovering what I was capable of doing, you know, being that go-getter that I am now, leaving that fear behind. So all of that I had inside of me, it started coming out when my mindset shift.
Right.
Yes.
And like, were you purposeful about changing that? Like, did you decide, okay, I need to start changing the way that I think? Is that something, like, how did that come to you?
That came like in my journey, like just working on myself, doing personal development, surrounding myself with you girls, like with a positive community, people that would love me, that made me feel good from the inside out. And it just naturally, I started like, I don't know, coming out. The lady that I am now is like, it started coming out. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. I know that for me, what I see now, and maybe that's because of my age. I don't want to give it away. I always say that I'm 46, and I've been through a lot of changes. Like, I've been through a lot of physical changes. I'm already in menopause, so like I also feel like that changes depending on what point you are in your life, like what stage in your life. So like for me, 5 years ago, I was kind of the same because I was really focused on, I needed to get this weight off. I wanted to go to Cancun or the beach and get in a two-piece. Like that was my big thing. I wanted to be in a two-piece. So I was really like hard on myself, physically. I also back then really did look in the mirror and like look at my C-section belly, and I criticized myself a lot. I feel like today I've just like Deslanie, and I know Jasenia, like I've done a lot of work on the inside, where now I think I've come to a place where I can look in the mirror and say, well, my C-section flap is because my babies came out of there, because we have the gift of giving birth, and whatever cellulite, the all the scars and everything that I have on my body, it's because my body gave birth to my two beautiful blessings. Yes. And I think that for me personally, that kind of came with age, because I just feel like I'm a lot more mature in that sense, where I know that I got so much more going on. And yeah, we want to look good. And, we still work on ourselves, right? But I know that there's so much more going on that I can offer, that I'm skilled at. And that in itself has helped build my confidence too, like from the inside. And that's been a journey from the past, 5 years. I'm definitely not that same person, So I do look at myself a little bit differently in the mirror, right?
Yeah. It's definitely true, like what you're saying. Like it also depends. It absolutely has to do with.
So where were you Where were you 5 years ago?
It's 5 years ago. It's about 2 years into my journey into my weight loss, and that's exactly I was going to touch on with this stage. Is that it is your mental stage. If you don't take care of your mental health and your mindset, the stage in your life, all areas of your life have to balance out, and the stage in your life is not going to balance properly if your mindset is not right. So 5 years ago, when I looked at myself, excuse me, when I looked at myself in the mirror, okay, I was starting to lose weight. It was all physical, like it was when we all started. It was all physical. It was all, I needed to lose weight. I needed to get back to who I was before I had kids. That's like, once you have kids, that's what we want.
Your body changes when you have kids.
Yes,
like,
you want that body when I had kids. I want the body in high school. Like, okay, and then as I started working myself, you got to be realistic. Like, nobody can get their high school body back because life didn't happen to you back then. You didn't have responsibilities. You didn't have kids. You didn't have to go to work. You didn't have to pay bills.
And your body's just different. Your skin changes. Things change.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you think about it, back then, mentally in high school, what were your worries? You didn't have any worries. What was your mindset? You didn't have your mindset was like, oh. So I started to grow, and I started to, as I lost the weight, and I did lose the weight, and as we all said, I lost the weight. I was, I thought I was confident, I'm there, and I'm good, but I still wasn't right. So I still needed to do the work. Mm-hmm. I still learned the hard way that I needed to do the work, surrounding myself with you girls, getting smackdowns by the girls, and look, you need to do this, you need to read this, and I was so against the self-growth things before because I thought that they were crap. Like, I seriously thought it was crap. Like, that's not, whatever. Now, I'm like, I would choose to listen to self-growth while I'm in the shower rather than anything else.
Right.
Or if I do listen to music, it's music that's going to calm me and put me in a state, relaxing, where I can think. Although I like my merengue and everything that we sing and we hype, but again, it depends on what I'm feeling, and if I'm feeling that, it's what it is. It's what helps me open my mind.
Do we have any questions?
What helps me open my mind. But as I grew, I didn't like mirrors. As I grew mentally, I did not like mirrors. I did not have mirrors in my house. I always loved to take pictures. That's another thing I realized. I always loved to be behind the camera. I love pictures, and I always told myself.
And I'm going to ask you a deep question, because Yesenia lost a lot of weight, like a massive amount of weight. And I want to like know about that. Just like share just a little bit, like what you saw in the mirror compared to what you were experiencing. Because well, let me just give you like kind of share with you. A lot of times, I know that for me, you know, I would see myself in the mirror, and even though I had lost a lot of weight, I still saw myself as the F word. I still saw myself as fat. And I know it's a derogatory, like I don't like even using that word, but to be honest, I did for a very long time. Like I thought I was still big, you know, so it's almost like a mind thing, right?
Yeah, it is a mind thing, because even after I lost the weight, I still didn't have mirrors in my house. The only mirror, when I was 300 pounds, I was 296 pounds when I started.
Wow.
When I started my journey, I was 296 pounds. I was huge. And the only mirror I had in my house was the medicine cabinet to brush our teeth. That's it. My kids were little, and I didn't have it. I lost the weight. I still didn't have a mirror. As a few years later, as I started growing, I still didn't have that confidence. I still saw every time I looked at myself in the mirror, I didn't see the person that lost over 100 pounds. I saw the girl that was still 300 pounds and needed to lose the weight. And that affected me in a lot of areas in my life mentally, because I wasn't giving 100%. And honestly, I think where in areas of my life that I was giving 100% were the wrong areas. Like although I'm a workaholic and I was a workaholic, I was giving my achievements as a workaholic because I didn't want to face. I didn't feel strong enough to be there for my kids, to be honest with you, which affected my kids in a big way, because a lot of years when they were younger, I wasn't there. A lot of stories that come out, mommy, you weren't there, you were at work, and that hurts. And it was the confidence. And I was trying to find other areas and overcoming it. And as I kept losing weight, and I did lose weight, it took me from 5 years to now. I still struggle, but I'm so much easier to pay attention to my cues and learn. That's exactly what I had to learn, like from listening to podcasts. I mean, I know a lot of people, but I don't like reading, I don't have time to read. That's okay. You can pop some headphones in. You can listen to podcasts.
And when we say growth, personal
books,
growth, that's what we mean. Podcasts, anything self-improvement, anything that you can listen to, tap into, that has helped us like immensely.
Absolutely. To do things that makes you feel good. Like if you, on a day off, and let's say if you don't have kids, or if you do have kids, whatever it is, if you do have kids, make a time for yourself, whether it's alone time before they wake up in the morning. Make that your alone time. If you don't have kids, you know what? Go to a coffee shop and get to a spot where you feel comfortable. Go open up a bottle of wine, get some wine. You know, even if you're home, get dressed up and get your wine. Just do those cues that are going to click to positive. Because if you're not paying attention, just like the food that we eat, you know,
it's
you
like
eat something and it makes you bloated. Okay, I'm not going to eat that anymore.
That's really interesting, because it's all about like self-talk, and what you feed yourself and what you tell yourself is what Jasenia is sharing. It's like we have to be really mindful of how we talk to ourselves. And I have used this before with some of the girls. Is like we're used to talking nicely to other people. You know, we say, like, we watch what we're saying, but then are you really watching what you're saying to yourself in your head?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that, I know for me and for us, like it really was a process of having to reverse some of that, having to teach ourselves all over again. That positive self-talk, like we share positive affirmations. Those really work. Like, look at yourself in the mirror and be like,
yes,
Denise, you're gonna rock it today.
Yes.
I talk to myself.
Morning. Absolutely.
It works. You know, It's just kind of
Yeah.
reversing that.
And you gotta get in the habit into doing it daily, like repeat it every day, every day until like you learn how like you feel it.
It comes second nature.
Yes.
And by the way, now I have mirrors all over the place, and every time I see a mirror, I snap
You
a
take a
selfie.
selfie. That's how you hear that.
That's every time. Like, oh my gosh, a mirror. That's right, because you have to. As soon as you wake up, everybody usually has a mirror in their room with their bedroom set. It doesn't matter how crazy you look. If you look crazy, laugh at yourself. You gotta learn to laugh at yourself as well.
But that really, like, and that just goes back to the original, like, question. Is it an inside job? And it does have to start with the inside, because I could bet you $1 million that if you go out and look at and maybe read some of the stories of some of these famous people that look amazing, that you think have this glamorous life, and they're tortured on the inside because they're still not feeling good about themselves, even though they may look good physically. It doesn't matter. And also to share that that's really normal, right? Like like, don't feel like you're the only one that feels it, or like, it's such a normal thing to go through that, that journey of not feeling good about yourself. However, it is your responsibility, like we did this intentionally, to get yourself out of that and to build on those areas of yourself that you feel are going to help build your confidence. That's really like up to you to do that. Create that plan.
You took me back to when I started on this journey before getting pregnant and putting all the pounds in because of the pregnancy. But I was really thin before, but I wasn't confident. I was like really, really thin. When those memories come in Facebook, I'm like, wow. Yes, okay. But I didn't have the confidence that I have now.
Yeah.
Like now I am about 25 pounds over, on my healthy weight, but I have all this confidence. Like my body image, like it's not like before, like I focus on my body image. Now I focus on the person that I am and what I have to offer, and all this confidence, all this energy that I have.
And I like that, focusing on all of the gifts that you have to offer, all of your talents, all of the things that you're good at, all of the things that you've accomplished, because you've accomplished
the process, the journey. Like you really have to fall in love with the journey, like enjoy it. Not only focus like, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds. When I lose 50 pounds, I'm gonna be happy. No, you gotta enjoy the process.
Exactly. And and I like that, because enjoying the process means, be blessed at the fact that if you can run a mile, if you can get on the treadmill for 15 minutes, if you can get, whatever it is physically, or whether it's at your job, whatever skill, like feel thankful that you're able to do that. That's what's going to help build you up, and that's the whole, and kind of enjoying the process as you go, right?
Yes.
So, Delaney, so tell us, what's one thing that you've done to improve your body confidence?
Oh, I've already said it.
But let's talk about it again.
Yes. So what did I do to improve my
body
confidence? Well, first I prioritize myself. I surrounded myself with positive and uplifting people like you girls. And and wait, I wrote it down here. And I also started doing the things that scare me.
Out of your comfort zone.
Yes, out of my comfort zone.
Stepping out your comfort zone.
Yes.
Like what?
Well, I used to be afraid. Well, I still have that little fear, but now like I just do it. Like even if I have the fear, I just do it. Like I have a fear of going live. I still do it. Like I just do
We were nervous to do this.
Yes. So this is a fear that I have, but like now I just do it. Like si yo tengo ese miedo, like I don't let that fear stop me. Like I just do it. Before I was just no, I have that fear. I can do that. I can do that. No, like now I just go and do it, even with the fear.
But what about your body confidence? Where do you feel like, so this stuff has helped you like put yourself more out there, step out your comfort zone, but what has made you increase your confidence in your body? So that everything matches, inside, outside,
Well, for me, I think it has been personal growth, personal development, working on myself, and also surrounding myself with you girls. It also has to do with that, because when you surround with people that like daily remind you like how good you are, the gifts that they see in you, that sometimes you don't see yourself, that sometimes they believe more in you before you believe in yourself. That has helped me a lot too.
Yeah.
And with the body confidence, like, I just feel confident.
Well, and also the workouts that we do. I mean, a lot of people follow us because of the workouts and our weight loss journey and everything, right? I mean, I know that for me personally, like doing these really hard workouts that I didn't think I could do.
Yes.
Just,
Thank you for reminding me.
when you do something that you don't think you can get through, or that's really, really hard, no matter what it is in life, that is going to build your confidence up.
Yes.
And even though we may not have the six pack or whatever, I know that I don't, just getting myself and pushing through, Transform 20, a lot of these programs that we've done, I feel like that has helped me just feel stronger. Like I just feel good in my body, right? And you can relate to that.
And that's why I'm doing a second round, because if the first time was hard, the second time it doesn't get easier. You just get stronger and you just get more confidence. And I went into round 2 like, I got this. Even though those workouts like kill you, but like, I got this. Like, if I did it one time, I can do it a second time. Yes.
I think one of the things too is that has helped me is that I don't compare, because I was that person who would compare, like my body to somebody else's body, or I wanted to look like that person or whatever it is, and I've just really have taken a step back, and I just very thankful that thank God I'm healthy, that I have strong bones, that I have a strong body. And that definitely has been different, and something that I've been very intentional with in terms of working on that, just to make sure that I am loving myself for who I am, and like Delaney mentioned, the fact that we're part of this sisterhood and this community, we do support one another. And if you don't have that kind of community, or you don't have that kind of circle, you gotta cut that negativity out. If it's your small circle of friends and family, find yourself a positive circle of friends and family. Unfortunately, sometimes it's family, right?
Yes.
So I think that's important.
Absolutely.
So just anyway, what do you think from like what's one thing that you've done to improve your body confidence over the years?
It's all the same with self-growth, and just really definitely making myself a priority, as hard as that is, and making my time, making myself aware, that awareness of myself, that awareness of, as soon as, at first it was very hard for me to learn those cues and to switch that self-talk, but it's all, a lot of these different podcasts that we listen to, it'll tell you, as soon as you'll have that negative thought, you'll replace it with something positive, or you'll replace it with an action, or you have to remember journaling, writing things down, writing what you're grateful for, because, and that's another thing that I like about what we're doing too, is we track every single thing from our emotions, because as much as the workouts kill us physically, we're tracking how we're feeling, we're tracking our mental challenges, our daily challenges, and we're writing it. We have it's like a journal, which we should have regardless, because it's going to take you back. It's going to take you back to think, well, when I felt this way before, have I felt this way before? Look back in your journal.
Right.
What did you do? How did you overcome that?
Yeah.
What did you do that day?
Such a good point.
What was happening in your life at that time that made you feel that, and what did you do to change it, or what happened to change your circumstances?
Because we forget sometimes,
yes,
right? Like what we've overcome and what we've accomplished.
Yeah, so it's good to write things down, what you're grateful for at this point in your life, to know what's going to move you forward by just learning your awareness of yourself.
Yes, yeah. I really like that, because I've heard this before. You can't change what you're not aware of. Like the more connected you are to what you've been through, what you've overcome, the obstacles in life, and understand that you're not the only one that goes through these things. The more that you're aware of some of those things that maybe you'd like to change, at the same time recognizing your strengths, recognizing your power, being very thankful and grateful for what you have. But once you can recognize some of those areas that you'd like to improve on, then you can do it. Like if you don't know, and
Yeah.
and this tracking and journaling is great because
Mhm.
you can always go back to that, because you can't change what you're not aware of, or what you don't, and a lot of times, like that whole, that inner part where you're struggling with the self-love, that's usually deep. It usually comes from somewhere, and you have to get to the bottom of where does that stem from. Is it my
Yeah.
childhood? Was it my relationship with my mother? Like whatever it is,
Much deeper than we usually
like
think
it's usually
sometimes.
much deeper, and the only way that stuff is going to surface is by revisiting and going back to that stuff, so that you can then kind of work through it, however you decide to work through it.
Yes.
Right.
And I think journaling is also very important, because sometimes you get in a funk, and it's good
Yeah.
you go back to your journal and you see your progress and how you made that progress happen.
Exactly.
You'll see your good days.
Yeah.
You'll go back and you see your good days, and like, oh my gosh, I was like so, and
Exactly.
you'll learn, and you want to repeat the good days, so you're gonna keep repeating what you did.
Exactly.
You know who's really good with that, with the mental thing? Tony Robbins.
Tony
He's really
Robbins
good
is
with
my
going back to think of like the best place that you, your best feelings, and he's really good with learning your cues and learning your mental, going back to the good places to bring you to a good place.
Exactly.
He's really good with that.
So does anyone have questions? I would love to hear like who's on, and any Dominican peeps comment like, hey, Wepa, you got the music going, but and if we can't, we're definitely gonna go back to the feed and respond to any questions. If you are watching this later on, make sure that you share this with someone who wants to maybe hear this. So what's your biggest tip, if anything, ladies? Like, I want to leave our audience with at least one tip or one thing that we can share that they can maybe start implementing right away in order to help build up their body image and their self-confidence.
My tip will be, don't compare yourself to anyone. And I mean nobody, like nobody. You are like unique. You have your curves, you have like your body is beautiful, so don't compare yourself like to nobody. Have goals in life, whatever goal that you want. If you want abs, go for them, but don't compare yourself like to anyone. And because I think when you compare yourself to others and you are working towards that and then you don't see that, lo que hace como que te para.
It gets in your way. It
Stops you, blocks you.
It makes you feel like you can't achieve,
like
you
it's
can't
not
get
attainable.
there. Like it's not attainable.
Yes,
exactly.
So don't compare yourself to anyone.
And you know what, too? Like, we're more alike than we're not. Like you see people, like I mentioned earlier, like and it connects to the comparing. You see people and you think that they look and feel and they're living this certain life, and I'm gonna tell you right now, when you have a conversation with that person, it's not even like that.
No.
I know that I've been guilty of that. Like I'll see someone, even on the team, oh, well, she's doing this and she looks that way and she's doing that, and then you know what? And that's maybe my tip is get to know people. Like, don't assume anything, right? Like, get to know people and share whatever it is that you're going through. Connect with other women, because that is going to help. I feel like, and that's going to be my tip. Connect with other women that are also on the same path, of like self-growth, of working on yourself, of whatever that is, whoever that circle is. Connect with that circle, because you have to understand that you're not alone. You're not the only one that's feeling it. I would say, talk to somebody about whatever it is that you're struggling with, and partner up with people. So like if there's an area in your life where you feel like, man, I really need to kind of work on that, then find someone who you can partner up with, that you can maybe kind of, go on that path with, where you're not going to feel alone. So that's my tip.
I think definitely with the self-talk, go to the dollar store, get yourself a notebook, get yourself a pen, put it next to your mirror in the morning. In the morning, wake up and write 3 things of what you love about yourself. Or at night, as long as you do it every day, put the date on it. Write something now that you were feeling, or an emotion that you were feeling every day. But you have to be aware of where your life is today. Exactly. You have to know where you are today, so you can learn from where you were and you can move forward to where you should be, where you want to be, where you truly belong. Because a lot of times we want to take this path, and even though it's not a straight path, because sometimes God puts us in a path that it may not be the one that we want.
Little bumps on the road.
It's going to be bumpy, it's going to be squiggly, it's going to be all around, but you can't have any comparison or any, not connecting with other people. You have to be aware of where you are today. Write that down, what you're grateful for, and truly be aware of the stage of your life that you are. Don't try to become who you were in the past, because you don't want to be that person in the past. You don't want to be that girl in high school. Like a lot of people don't even like themselves in high school.
Fully
you embrace who you are today
at this stage in life,
right?
Because like we said earlier, you're going to go through different stages of your life, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, because again, I am the oldest and I don't care. Maybe that's one thing about why I feel so different, is because I am fully embracing who I am, with all of my curves, with my imperfections, with the person that I am today, that has learned so much. And I know maybe I can speak for the three of us here. And we're missing our partner, Cruz. Love you, Cruz.
Oh, that's right.
She'll be here next week.
Our Cruz.
But just loving who you are, because you are a fighter. Like, we've overcome so much. And why would we want to be that person in high school? I don't want to be that person who like this Lainey, skinny and insecure, not knowing who I was. Like, I know who I am today, and I know what I offer people. I know what my skills are, my gifts and my talents, and I can speak for the three of us and for Cruz. And that's why I love who I am today. And so I'm in a good place.
Because you worked hard to get there.
Exactly, right?
That's right.
So with that said, so are we closing it out? Any closing remarks? Any questions?
We're gonna get back to this. We
Yes.
want to know what you guys are working on yourselves.
Yes, so please respond to the questions that Denise asked in the
the very beginning, which remind them.
which is, when you stand up like in the mirror, what do you see and how do you feel? And if you have any questions about this topic, drop them in the comment and we're gonna get back in
Question,
here.
comments, share.
Please
Yeah.
feel free to share,
Feel free
tag
to
a
someone.
friend who struggles. We are an open book. So thank you for
Absolutely.
tuning in, and we'll be
Thank
back next
you.
week with our Cruz.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bye,
Cruz.
Okay.
Bye.
Are we gonna do no merengue or
You
no?
want
No
merengue?
merengue. Okay, merengue.
We got merengue.
Okay. And we can say bye to them. Go ahead and end it.